Martin Galway direct Dublin and see Patrick Breheny Mohalar the park bultige stachige shoe agus Colleen Elle Anna Yasafat fachte ige Patrick Breheny Ollie Welsh reach trust in the park and so agus chance ige Kilkenny Dublin and see agus a Machtlish and so Kevin Kelly Machtlish at Cosanorde bultige Kevin agus bultige Mahige Kevin Kelly Watching Council Roada agus Anna Hansafat and so score Killian Buckley, Buckley and Town, I'm saying Killian.
And what we Christian watching our Richard Stack and Sonny Gart agus Richie Power pass out to Harlan den agus cool to consum the Killian.
Owen McGrath and so Kilkenny will to go get Killian Buckley and far for the cool. And pass live and so get Michael Brennan, chance to Michael cool like Michael Brennan. Oh, she had a hot on the cool Hogan to go.
Well, Paul's finished Gokro the Garten in Holman, you know, the fortune chance, Anna Fass and Chinnery, agus Anna Coimer, agus, you know, fortune chance to do Frishish, but the good ship again in Hartfordish, you know, the fortune chance, Dira Kishtak, Ilona Costa, agus Anna Yakut and Cool by the Kilmarsh in the stop there.
See if we integrate they get Shane Maloney. Well, they get Shane. Well, she is a lot of enemy. Well, she orders to say Ronald. After she has it just now.
Oh, cool. We know to get son behind son. We say Galway no can slap no can make the mark on son. Agus the Vulture go hard and Tom Summer. We say these fit agus Derek Elar Wheelson. Cool. We know to get fight.
Agus Shachun Jason Corcoran. Alvinson. The Gaudid, went to Stach, Heidi Nord reached and some Dahi Borka stood there Mehan Tallow and John Power Galistach, chance to get John and was last to Chef Hola, no hole, but see you cool again John Power. Well, Macher said like on the move, cool on to Pachtenson again.
Well, for cool and Jim and Dahi Bork here at the Goals near because they back oil better, you know, big and cool by the beginning, the markets on our stop share.
Rigri Killian Buckley, Killian Anna Vienach Fatsa Versa, Bultige, Hanili Council, Father Galore, Shake Helio, Mr. Handy Tonko, Tubish der Fad and son, Tubish Cat and Council and son, and Jer Aylward, Stolem, a Klichnoon Clitter, Cillian Town, Acha, well, Mioverach Cat the V on Cool Boyde, Agus Jer Aylward, attacked the deed on Dribble Eden Mutunson. Agus well couple of cool tasdailo ngaliv ile khomara gwaishiad score lahorna gwaishiad cool lahorna huide achach tasdail boy wa awaidish countbeg awaidish goichon bulta trasna and sogadi Cathal O'Brien go hard agus Cathal O'Brien go cream Jer Aylward fós at Cosanorde pass glote trasna o Jer Aylward and son gadi Kevin Kelly chance to get Kevin Kelly to the chef hole agus Kevin Kelly Chris Parabach did the Kilkenny inside. Agus Cadagianig Albert Mullins. Albert. Well, we should hear a Viklish Hanadok Shatig and Multoid. Agus Schlistiente and so Henry Kilkenny. Agus and scored Dernachutza about the Tropik. Kilkenny Booker, there's a score. Good an idea we get Kilkenny. Not a good deal in Kilkenny.
Today went very well, Marty. I mean, it's one of those days you come up, we felt we were very well prepared and we're expecting a really tough challenge from Galway. And certainly in the first half, we got the break of the ball. Our forwards had great movement, great support play for each other. Got in for 3 goals that gave us a cushion at half time. And I suppose we were able to kick on from there.
I think a lot of our fellas probably, you know, got overwhelmed and overawed by the occasion. They're not, you know, they're not bad hurlers, and history will prove that a lot of them fellas are quality players.
Yeah, but again, Kilkenny shown their strength. Paul, you think that the similarities between the minors and the seniors?
There is, Des. I suppose, you know, the future's in safe hands, but you know, it's the directness they play, and you know, probably the speed and the pressure they put the opponents under. Like
let's have a look.
Yeah, they were absolutely fantastic today, and again, as the seniors, in a few minutes spell, they just pile on the scores, but they got a little bit of help from Galway today, but young Power, fantastic player in the wing, John Power, puts it in here to Killian Buckley. And like, that's a quality finish, no matter what level it's at. Like, he just takes it in and takes his time and places it up in the top corner. Again, no panic in defence, nice ball out. Okay, this is a little bit fortuitous, but long ball in. The Galway goalkeeper comes out, miscontrols it. But you have Jerry Aylward, showing he's alert, follows it in. Maybe a hopeless cause, other fellas wouldn't do it. The ball ends up in the net. And again, young Aylward has moved out to the wing, picks it up, carries it, keeps carrying it, and shows his vision. Long hand pass, lucky enough to get there. But when Kevin Kelly gets it, one thing on his mind, into his hand, shortens up to Hurley around his opponent. And a good shot to the far post, catching a goalkeeper flat-footed. But
John, it's hot stuff. And what do you make of them, John?
They improved an awful lot since the Dublin game, I thought. I thought they were sluggish enough against the Dublin
in the Leinster final.
In the Leinster final. But today I thought they really looked very, very comfortable. Every one of them looked like comfortable hurlers, well able to handle themselves. And they play with great similarities with the senior team. And I suppose they are watching them. I wouldn't say it's a policy, but I think that the players just naturally now are learning their trade by watching them and studying.
Following their heroes, thing.
But as well as that, Des, I was watching their defence very closely today, and the minute there was any danger, they all closed in, much as their senior team do. Whereas Galway were a little bit squealed and they left them in for the goals earlier on. So that was one thing, and as well as that, highly flexible forwards. Aylward did brilliantly when he came out to the wing, but he was picked full forward, played in the corner, so they had that interchangeability that the seniors have as well. But the thing that I thought about them, first touch, excellent.
Okay.
And the funny thing, Des, most of them are from kind of country clubs around Kilkenny, aren't they? They're not, city orientated. So the gospel is spreading.
The gospel is spreading. It's all over the place down there. So Kilkenny in yet another. Well, Waterford have had a few great moments to celebrate. Will they get to another All-Ireland final in your view, Donald?
Well, I think they were impressive enough. Against Cork, they did a business, right. But I think that when you look at their forwards, really they're depending for their scores mainly on John Milan. And I think that if John Milan can be kept quiet by the Tip defence, I think that moves the advantage to Tip. And I think that I have a slight favouritism for Tip. I think they're coming good at the right time, and I think they'll just scrape it. Now, whether it will do any good going into the All Ireland final or not is another thing. But I think they'll just get over Waterford.
John?
I'm sure everybody, I think, will think the Tip are really, getting a bit of momentum and are coming the way they want now. They had a bad start, and I suppose Waterford started badly as well and improved as they went on in their campaign. I'd love to see Waterford, if there's no one else to win an All-Ireland, I'd love to see Waterford, because I think if anyone deserves an All-Ireland is Tony Brown and that team. And
having said that,
Kilkenny would love to beat Tip as well. In a final, and if you were going to do the
Tip would love to beat
five, well, it's fair game for everyone. And 5 in a row.
Do you know that everyone would love to beat Kilkenny?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I know. So, but your heart says Waterford, is it? And your head says Tip.
Yeah, that's
all
sort
right.
of the.
Paul, your heart obviously says Waterford. What does your head say?
Well, I think Waterford are well capable of beating Tipperary. People think Tip are coming in on a high after beating Galway, but I think their win against Galway wasn't, it was a close match and it was a thriller, but it wasn't a great hurling match. Tip made plenty of mistakes, in particular at the back, which is unusual for them because they've had a good unit there the last few years. But I think if Waterford spread out and they can use a bit of experience up front, maybe 1 or 2 ball winners, to hold up the play. But it's really a 50-50 game, but I don't see any reason why Waterford can't beat Tip.
Donald, the championship needs another thriller, doesn't it?
It does really, and I know there was a lot of mistakes in the Tip versus Galway match, but I was a great believer that people come to see the contest and they're not too hung up on he missed a pick there or the hurling wasn't free flowing or whatever it is. I think you come to a close contest, and as John said earlier, you want to be on the edge of your seat with 2 minutes left, and I think we'll get a game like that, to be honest with you, because I think there's not that much between the teams, but I have a slight favouritism for Tip. And when you create and when you make big mistakes, right, you look at them and you rectify them for the next day, and I think Tip will do that, and I think they'll just have a little bit more than Waterford.
But John, we still saw that Munster final replay win meant so much to the Waterford squad.
Yes, and it kind of showed them in a much more united front. And I was looking at the halftime team talk that Davy was given, and they were hanging on to every word that Davy was saying. And I mean, at this stage, he must have said it all to them. But they were so, you know, focused, and I think they're progressing as a team, and I think they're much more together as a team. And I probably think they have a few more brains on the team. You know, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Since Paul is gone,
Since Paul is gone. No. But, you know, they're playing more intelligent type of hurling. They've found a nice full back line, you know, that can compete. Well, of course, after today, you'd wonder at the Cork full forward line how good they are. But I think Waterford are better balanced to them, you know, and, you know, they will hold their own with anyone. They'll have no fear.
Okay, well, it's one to savour, and of course it's live next Sunday here on RTE2. But now we've a little treat for you, an old American cinema movie portraying wild Irishmen, as they're called, playing hurling. And it's been uncovered by a digital media scholar at NUI Galway, Dr. Sean Crossan, director of the Houston School of Film and Digital Media at NUIG, found the humorous movies while investigating how the GA was portrayed in Hollywood. His search ultimately led him to an archive at the University of Wisconsin, where he uncovered these hidden gems. They were produced by Warner Brothers